Good morning students. Dear students, in the previous lecture we have done what is the nominal diameter of rivet, gross diameter of rivet, row of rivets, gauge line, gauge distance, pitch of rivets, diagonal pitch, gauge plates, etc. So then today, what is the rivet size for different structures? For example, for roof truss, transmission line towers, supports, signboards, etc. So the size of the rivets to be used 12 millimeter to 16 millimeter. For large bridge towers, the size of the rivet is 25 millimeter to 28 millimeter. So for bridge work, 22 millimeter to 25 millimeter. For workshop buildings, etc. for 20 millimeter nominal diameter of rivets are used. So then as per the IS code 800 steel code, the minimum value of the edge distance corresponding to nominal diameter of the rivets. So for this nominal diameter of the rivets, the minimum edge distance to be used is shown in this table. So then the pitch of rivets. So the rivet should be placed at sufficient distance apart to prevent tension failure of the members between the two consecutive rivets and to permit efficient installation of the rivets. And it is also desirable to place the rivets sufficiently close together because to reduce the length of the connection and gust plates to have uniform stress in rivets. So then, as per the IS steel code 800 1984 minimum pitch, so the minimum pitch to be used is the distance between the center of the rivets should not be less than 2.5 times the nominal diameter of the rivet. So then maximum pitch. So for parts in compression, the maximum pitch of the rivets in the direction of compressive stress shall not exceed 12 T or 200 millimeter. So where T is the whichever is smaller, where T is the thickness of the thinner plate. So for parts in tension, the maximum pitch of the rivets in the direction of stress should not exceed 16 T or 200 millimeter, whichever less. So T is the thickness of the thinner plate. So then type of the riveted joints. The rivet joints used are of two types. So first is lap joint, then butt joint, lap joint. So in this type of joint, the members to be connected are made to lap over each other. So in the lap joint, members to be connected, they lap over each other. So the different type of the lap joints used are single riveted lap joint, double riveted lap joint, so and triple riveted lap joint. So this figure shows single riveted lap joint. A lap joint having only one row of rivets is called single riveted lap joint. So this figure shows the pictorial view of the single riveted lap joint. So this is the top line of the single riveted lap joint and this is the sectional front view. So then double riveted lap joint. So double riveted lap joint means a lap joint having two rows of rivets is called double riveted lap joint. So this figure shows double riveted lap joint because there are two rows of rivets. So this is the top line and this is the sectional front view of the double riveted lap joint. So then triple riveted lap joint. A lap joint having three rows of rivets is called triple riveted lap joints. So the load in the lap joint has eccentricity E as shown in this figure. There is eccentricity E because the center of gravity of the load in one member and center of gravity of the load in other member, they are not in the same straight line. So it means eccentricity E is formed. So due to this eccentricity, a couple is formed. So which cause bending stresses. So it means it has the bending stress causes the bending stress deform the plates and rivets as shown in this figure. So it means deformation of the joint takes place because of the bending stress. So bending stress occurs due to the eccentricity. So eccentricity occurs because the loads in the different member, they are not in the same straight line. So then butt joint. In the butt joint, two plates to be joined, they butt against each other. The plates to be joined, they butt against each other. That is called butt joint. So in the case of butt joint, a cover plate is placed either on one side or on both the sides of the two main plates. Then type of the butt joints. The butt joints used the butt joints are classified as single riveted butt joint, double riveted butt joint, and triple riveted butt joint. So this figure shows single riveted butt joint, that is a butt joint having one row of rivets on each side of the joint is called single riveted butt joint. So this is butt joint. So there is one row of rivet on each side of the joint. So this figure shows single riveted single cover butt joint, because if cover plate is placed only on one side of the butt joint, if the cover plate is used only on the one side of the joint, that is single cover butt joint. This is single riveted single cover butt joint. So in this figure, cover plates are placed on both the sides of the butt joint. So if the two cover plates are used, then this is single riveted double cover butt joint. Then double riveted butt joint. So what is a double riveted butt joint? A butt joint having two rows of rivets on each side of the joint is called double riveted butt joint. So this is double riveted butt joint because there are two rows of rivets on each side of the joint. So then double riveted butt joint, they are single cover double riveted butt joint or double riveted butt joint. So this is double riveted single cover butt joint because cover plate is placed only on one side. So in this figure, this is double riveted double cover butt joint because cover plates are placed on both the sides of the joint as shown in this figure. So then triple riveted butt joint, a butt joint having three rows of rivets on each side of the joint is called triple riveted butt joint. So then in a single cover butt joint, cover plate is placed on one side of the main plates. So in this type of the joint, binding stress develops which cause deformation of the joint as shown in the figure. In case of double cover butt joint, there is no possibility of development of bending stress and deformation of the joint. So it is desirable or preferable to provide butt joint than a lap joint, because in case of the double cover butt joint, centricity of the forces do not exist and hence bending stress is eliminated. So whereas it exists in case of the lap joint, and the shear carrying capacity of the rivet in a double cover butt joint is double than that of rivet in a lap joint. So then comparison between lap joint and butt joint. So in case of the lap joint, no cover plates are used, so it means therefore saving of the materials, so that is the joint is less costly. So in case of the butt joint, cover plates are used, number of rivets required and are more, and the length of the each rivet will be more, so that is the butt joint is more costly as compared to lap joint. So second point, the rivets are subjected to moments in addition to the direct load as shown in the figure, because there is a centricity E in case of the lap joint. So moments develop as well as in addition to the direct load, moment also develop which cause deformation of the joint. And in case the rivets are not subject to moments in addition to the direct load, because line of action of the forces are concentric in double cover butt joint. Concentric means along the same straight line. So third point, the lap joint is less strong as compared to butt joint. So that is butt joint, the butt joint is more strong. So next point, length of the rivets used will be smaller than the butt joint. So in case of the butt joint, length of the rivets used will be more than that of lap joint. Thank you.